Now I see why we celebrate National Superhero Day in light of this decision by this Trump-appointed federal judge involving the Second Amendment. Hey folks, I'm Mark Smith, constitutional attorney, member of the United States Supreme Court Bar, and proud gun owner. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so and press that button and show that anyone that defends the right to keep and bear arms here in America is indeed a superhero, him or herself. Going forward, I'm going to try to tell you the point of the video right up front, so if you don't want to watch it to the end, you at least get the takeaway up front. Today, I want to talk about the case of United States versus Cudd, involving a Texas florist who was involved in the January 6th protest, because it shows two things, this case out of the district court in the District of Columbia. It shows that the current administration thinks that the Second Amendment is a second-class right, if a right at all. They actually think it's a privilege, in my opinion. And this administration is always looking for ways to curtail it in any respect, including in the context of prosecuting misdemeanors, people convicted of misdemeanors, in connection with the January 6th events. And it also teaches, this video teaches, how a judge appointed to the federal bench by Donald J. Trump stood up for our Second Amendment rights on behalf of Ms. Cudd. Today I want to talk about a case that very few people have even noticed, a case involving one of the January 6th defendants in Washington, D.C. Her name is Jenny Cudd, and she is a Texas florist who went to the January 6th protests, and while she was there, she allegedly and apparently pled guilty to trespass, which is a misdemeanor, by the way. Specifically, she pled to knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds without the authority to do so. She was convicted in federal court of a $5,000 fine and 2 months probation, no jail time. By the way, prosecutors actually wanted Ms. Cudd to go to prison for 75 days for this misdemeanor nonviolent conviction that she pled guilty to. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about Ms. Cudd's case is because of Judge Trevor McFadden, who was a judge appointed to the federal bench in the District of Columbia by Donald J. Trump. And what's interesting is that when the prosecutors at the sentencing hearing asked for the various sentences, one of the things they asked for is that during the 2 months of probation, basically, that Ms. Cudd was going to be receiving, she should give up her guns. Now, Ms. Cudd had apparently a very good attorney who did a good job for her, as best I can tell from what I've read in the papers. The attorney on behalf of Ms. Cudd said, hey, Ms. Cudd has a Second Amendment right like anybody else in America, and this is a nonviolent misdemeanor. So she should not have to give up her guns. And by the way, Ms. Cudd has actually been harassed hugely because of her involvement in January 6th. So if anyone is entitled to protection with firearms, it's Ms. Cudd. And Judge Trevor McFadden agreed. In fact, in his decision that says, I am not going to deny Ms. Cudd her Second Amendment rights, he actually cites to Heller versus the District of Columbia and says that Heller says that it is a fundamental right to have a firearm for self-defense in the event that someone is trying to attack you, which of course is what Heller said. The judge actually issued an opinion, which I'll put down below in the description to this video. The judge explained that he has discretion as to whether or not he can impose certain conditions on Ms. Cudd. And he assessed them and said that in his view, because she's a nonviolent misdemeanor conviction, not a felon, the firearms restriction was totally unrelated to her conviction. In fact, Ms. Cudd argued that she'd been threatened for her role in the Capitol on January 6th and really needed the weapon to protect herself. Now, the Department of Justice said, we disagree with Ms. Cudd's view. We don't think she should have a gun at all in this context. But the good news is that the court, Judge McFadden, found that the government had presented no evidence that Ms. Cudd incited anyone to violence, nor did it present evidence that she participated in the violence. She also had no prior criminal history, and she did wear apparently a bulletproof sweatshirt to January 6th, but what's interesting is the judge said that's entirely consistent with her fear of being attacked at the rally. That was what the judge says. Now, what the other interesting thing is, the judge actually quotes and cites to the Second Amendment and the case of District of Columbia versus Heller. What Judge McFadden said, that the inherent right of self-defense has been central to the Second Amendment right. And he then goes on to say that Ms. Cudd should not be denied her Second Amendment rights to self-defense during the 2-month period that she has to serve as probation as part of her misdemeanor conviction in connection with January 6th. So I just want to say, in terms of National Superhero Month, which I did not realize that National Superhero Day fell in the month of April, I think we can say that Judge McFadden, in this big political battle involving January 6th, stood up for the right to keep and bear arms and the Second Amendment, and in my view, deserves the title of Superhero of at least that day. Okay, I hope you learned something here at the Four Boxes Diner. And remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And we'll see you again here at the Four Boxes Diner.
Orders up. Table 2A.